Hey guys, so a while back there were these very popular videos on YouTube called Draw My Life. And so for Cassidy today, I'm going to do a video about us growing up together, calling a Draw a Life or her life. So I guess it all started back while my mom, I guess, was doing her makeup or something. And I walked into her room and I said, "Hey mom, I want a sister." I guess it was pretty shocking at the moment, but when you're about 4 years old, you don't really care about anything else. You just kind of get tired of being the only girl with two brothers. And I guess that's what started it all. I guess there's only a few things you can remember when you're about 4 years old. But I do remember my mom being pregnant, which was a big deal because my parents weren't supposed to have any more kids. And I remember us being by the window in our room, which I shared with my two brothers. And we would pray over my mommy's belly that it was going to be healthy. And we also prayed that it would be a girl, because that's what I wanted. And we did that every night until Kassidy was born. There's another thing that I clearly remember as a child. I remember my mom coming home from the hospital holding this little pink thing. And there was all these girls or women around her, all my aunts and grandma and everybody. And I was like, "Mom, whose baby is that?" And when she said it was mine, I had absolutely no idea and somehow completely forgotten that my mom had been pregnant the whole time. But that was the very first time that I saw Kassidy. I don't remember a lot of things about Kassidy being a baby. I don't really remember her crawling or following us. I don't really remember her crying at night. There was one thing though that I very distinctly remember, and it was every time we went for a car ride or every time my mom did her hair, she did her hair up in two very precise pigtails that looked like they were like a waterfall of hair on the very top of her head. And they were always so funny. It was so, like, the only thing I could really remember of Kassidy being a baby is that funny little hairstyle my mom always did. Now, when I was 7 and Kassidy was about 4, we moved from our house in San Bernardino to a new house that my grandma used to live in Ontario. It was the very first time I shared my room with Kassidy because before I shared it with my brothers. And while sometimes it was fun, sometimes it wasn't so fun. One of the unfortunate parts of just about our age difference was while I was growing up, Kassidy still felt like a baby. And while it was cute when we were little and our mom would dress us up in matching dresses or we'd have the same things, when I got older, I started to get annoyed with Kassidy always following me or trying on my clothes or being around me sometimes. I was turning into a really mean sister. And it wasn't always so fun. I mean, we started fighting. It was always whose clothes are on the floor, or whose toys are here, or leave my things alone, or leave me alone with my friends. In a while, we started fighting a lot, and it wasn't so much fun. But don't get me wrong, it's not like we didn't have our good moments. I remember right before we were moving from the Ontario house to a new house, we got all of our old Barbies and tied them to the ceiling fan in some kind of make-believe ritual. It was funny, and all the Barbies started flying everywhere, and we just couldn't stop laughing. So after a while, we moved from the Ontario house to another new house in a city called Corona, which turned into Eastvale. And it was finally the first time any of us, including my brothers, had had our own room. Which, after a while, since me and Kassidy were finally separated, we just somehow started getting along better because we were spending some time apart. I guess that's what happens. And it also seemed that Kassidy was finally catching up to me in the age difference. After a while, it felt like new memories were becoming more and more enjoyable. I remember Kassidy sneaking to my bed one Christmas, and I didn't even know who she was at first. Or another time she came in and I was doing something funny, and she said, "This is not snuggling! What is this crap?" We also started leaving sticky notes on each other's doors, reading funny lines from TV shows or movies that we watched, like George Lopez or Finding Nemo. We were starting to become best friends. It was so great having somebody who was just more than my sister inside the house. Now that I think about it, it was a lot of fun watching Kassidy grow up. I saw her from going to a little girl, to a dancer, to a gymnast, to a cheerleader. I was always trying to be supportive. I mean, it didn't matter whether or not I liked what she was doing. It was always fun watching her grow up and doing all these amazing things with her life. So I guess you can say this is where the sad part comes in. When I got older, I reconnected with somebody that I met when Kassidy was a little girl. We ended up getting married, and because he was in the army, I moved to Hawaii. At first, it was super fun, but whenever I would call or Snapchat Kassidy, I really started to miss her, and I would ask, Kassidy, when are you gonna come visit me? Or come visit me right now? And I guess right now, I'm still kind of waiting on that visit. But for a while without her, things got pretty lonely, and whenever Eddie was at work, I started feeling really small and sad, like I wasn't really all that important to anybody anymore. And I really started to miss her. But now that I think about it, I always have my memories, and I'll always have those to share with her. Kassidy was the one who taught me how to do my makeup, or I'm sure I taught her one or two things. We went on all these adventures together and ate sandwiches from a Vietnamese restaurant where we never bought donuts. We got mad at the same time when we were mad with our parents or our brothers. We moved together. We ate too much ramen on a few Christmases, and we were there for each other when we had some of our first breakups. You know, we raised a dog together, and we said goodbye to two. And we played a lot of Just Dance. So no matter how I think about it, I'm always gonna have Kassidy. She's the summer to my winter and the yin to my yang, and all that kind of half stuff. We honestly believe that God divided us and then separated us by a few years so we would have each other forever and ever. So I guess the point of this entire crazy story is that I'm always gonna have Kassidy with me, and I just want to tell her, happy 16th birthday. I love you.